Assalamualaikum and good morning. Welcome to our forum discussion organized by University Malaysia Kelantan UMK Bachok. Today, we are gathering to deeply discuss about heritage preservation, which is Duyung Old Fort. To my knowledge, the city has been recognized as one of the architectural wonders in Terengganu and has become a unique attraction to tourists by displaying local artifacts and being evidence of the history of Islamic development. So, I think this building is a very interesting. So, I want to know more and more. Before we start, I would like to introduce our panelists today. Our first special panelist is Datuk Mukhlis Afiq bin Mazlan, Director General of National Heritage Department. Next to his is Mr. Muhammad Afifuddin bin Zamri, Deputy Director General. Also, we have Dr. Nurazati Sharafina binti Abdul Manaf, Director of UMK Heritage Conservation Division. And the last one, Ms. Noatira Akilah binti Arifin, Director of Heritage Register Division. So, without wasting time, let's hear the introduction about the Duyung Old Fort and why do we have to maintain the place or that monument. Please, Dr. Nurazati.
Thank you, moderator, for asking the questions. Okay, historical places are most important because they are valuable national property. Besides, it can also provide a lesson to the community, especially to teenagers who have a weak spirit of patriotism, so that they are aware of the existence of these historical places. Then, we need to appreciate the old historical place or monument because it has own history behind the construction. For example, the Duyung Old Fort is a historic traditional house located in Pulau Duyung, Kuala Terengganu. The Duyung Old Fort house is described as a fort because it was surrounded by a sturdy high-brick wall. The historic house belonged to a former Terengganu State Judge, Datuk B.G. Sura, or his real name, Nik Muhammad bin Hitam, which was built in 1919. The house covered an area of 400 square meters, built with the effort and help of Malay and Chinese builders from Singapore. That's why historical buildings in our country need to be taken care of and cannot be abandoned or demolished at will. From the point of view of tourism, historical places or monuments can attract many tourists, either local tourists or tourists from abroad who travel to Malaysia to visit the Duyung Old Fort. Another uniqueness of the traditional house is their building material that use the materials such as wood, brick attached with a mixture of egg white, sand, honey, small stones, and clay as a replacement for cement. The Duyung Old Fort now has been taken care of the state as a historical place and has become a heritage museum and exhibition gallery under the auspice of the Terengganu State Museum, which display local artifacts such as old plates, brassware, and pottery. Besides, the house also become a center for religious studies and recitation of the Quran that attract not only Terengganu students but also students from another state. Look at that, the Duyung Old Fort is important, right? Okay, with the existence of this historic place, the new generation will be more appreciative and sensitive to any demolition or destruction of the historic place. If there are parties that want to make demolition, should be subject to severe legal action. Clearly, we need to appreciate and preserve historical places and monuments well for future generation. That's all for me. Thank you.
I agree with Dr. Nurazati, who said that heritage buildings need to be cared for and preserve, always, so that future generation can continue to appreciate this artifact or history buildings. And for my opinion, without this monument, an individual would not remember as well as understand the events that took place in previous generation. In addition, historic buildings like this can attract tourists to see for themselves the uniqueness and beauty of the building. Therefore, we are Malaysians who should be proud of the old historic building in our country, and we should not just look at the remnants of this building with one eye. Okay, so let's move to Dr. Mukhlis. Alright, what steps are taken to protect the place or monument? Please, Dr. Mukhlis.
Thank you to the moderator for asking me that question. What steps were taken to protect the place or monument? First is through the government. Special government provision. The government need to allocate a special budget to preserve historic building such as the Duyon Old Forts. It's time for Malaysia to take steps like other development country to allocate funds to preserve the Duyon Old Forts. With enough money, historic building can be upgraded to attract outsiders to come and visit. Second, school and universities. Study towers. School and university need to hold a program of visit to historical location, especially the Duyon Old Forts around Malaysia. If many visitors come to the historical sites, the extra fee charge will be used to preserve the historic building. Next, volunteer. School and university should also encourage students to be involved in effort to preserve historic building. For example, participating in volunteer activity to clean and upgrade the landscape of historic building can be done by students themselves. Next, mass media. Promotion of historic building. The mass media is able to exert great influence on the outside world. They can make large-scale promotion to invite people to come to the location of historic building. The more people know about the place, the more the condition of the historic building is taken care of. Next, parents. Encouragement from parents. Parents need to take their children on holiday to historical place to extract interest and cultivate a love of national history. Lastly, Ministry of Tourism. Travel package. The Ministry of Tourism need to make a historical place as one of the location that tourists should go to. Travel agent need to include historical place as one of their travel package. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mukhlis. That was a great step to protect the monument. Alright, Mr. Afifuddin, we can see now teenagers or children do not care about monument or heritage building because it is all out today. For them, this modern life is something to be proud and admire. So how do we educate our children about heritage preservation?
Thanks to the moderator for asking a question that I think is really important to clarify. Okay, we as elders can see on our own eyes that group of young people begin to be less interested in ancestral heritage of national heritage treasure. In this case, we as their parents have to know and understand what it is called a heritage so that we can apply the meaning of the inheritance to our children later. For example, parents should know the meaning of inheritance and why it is have to be cared and preserved. Therefore, they can be cultivated the value of love the country heritage. Besides, parents also should be a good role model to their children by showing their love and affection for country precious heritage. Therefore, the children will also be inspired by the interest of their parents. Next, by visiting places where it is a lot of heritage such as Malacca, Selangor and others, with this, they will be exposed the beauty of the country heritage, and parents should also tell history of the place so that their children are more interested in getting to know our country heritage, and history of the heritage will not forgotten by new generation. As we know, in Malaysia, there are many heritage places which consist of the discovery of valuable artifacts and places that are famous for their own heritage. Last but not least, we must cultivate the child interested so that they will appreciate the heritage of our country better. We have to act that way because the children are also the next generation that we continue to preserve the country heritage so that the new generation can also see and feel something of their ancestral heritage and a valuable national treasure. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Afifuddin, for the tips. Alright, let's move to Miss Atira. Which agencies are involved in heritage conservation in Malaysia?
Thanks, moderator, for a good question. As you all know, agencies have different areas of duty and responsibility in preserving world heritage so that it is not forgotten. Among the agencies involved in heritage preservation in Kota Lama Duyun is run by the Terengganu Museum. Among them is the Terengganu Museum, which display old artifacts such as copper kitchen items that have been used in the past, as well as handicraft and history about Kota Lama Duyun. In addition, the National Department of Culture and Art is also an agency that plays a big role. Among them are planning, collecting and distributing art and culture information materials and providing advisory service, expert assistance and financial assistance. Next, the other agencies involved are the Ministry of Unity, Cultures, Art and Heritage. The ministry is responsible for formulating policies and legislations on cultures, the art and heritage. The ministry also preserves and conserves tangible heritage by documenting and publishing research results as well as art, cultures, and heritage reference materials. In addition, the Department of Culture Heritage is also an agency that preserves heritage by collecting dates, collecting documentation, and researching. Preserving the heritage of Kota Lama Duyun. That is one of the agencies that plays a big role in the maintenance of Kota Lama Duyung. The Malaysian Museum Department is in principle based on several needs, namely to provide education to be community preservation of historical, culture, natural, and tourism heritage. Certain policies involving museum functions such as collections acquisitions policy, research policy, exhibition technique and concept, conservation methods, as well as museum educations and development programs should be the formulations and be the base of guidance to museum officials and staff responsible for moving it. That is one of the agencies that play a big role in the maintenance of Kota Lama Duyung. That's all I can share about Heritage Preservation Agency Kota Lama Duyung.
Okay, thank you, Miss Atira, for the information. Ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to end part of our forum. We would like to say thanks again to our panelists for the informative and interesting talk. Hopefully, the forum will be beneficial for everybody. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.